Hello and welcome to The Story Pilgrim. Milan, Italy. Urban elegance. Milan, one of the fashion capitals of the world, but there is much more to it than that. Today you are going to be treated to myself trying to philosophize. That's right, you're in for a real treat. I think it was the culmination of my recent travel, things going on in my personal life and work that has put me in this frame of mind. And it isn't going away. Before we start, I'd like to invite you to share this episode with a friend, someone who needs a little lift. I promise you, they and you will feel better after, for doing so and for listening. Thank you. Okay, Milan, Italy. So excited. But let's start off with a touch of reverence.
Ciao, come stai? Va bene. I have just been sat in the Church of St. Joachim, which is a massive church. I mean, I'm in Italy. I'm in Milan. It's an interesting city. I love Italy. It's one of my favourite countries to come and visit. But Milan is a little bit different in that it's a bit more industrial, it's a bit more working, it's doing its thing, but it also has that fashion, the pretense that comes along with that. Is that a word? Pretense? Am I saying that right? Pretense? There's just that pretentiousness of the Milanese. They know best, and nobody else can tell them anything otherwise. Really excited to be here. Been here a few times over the past couple of years, and I always have a lovely trip. I've already had myself some nice pasta and some limoncello just to lubricate the old chops. So let's head out around Milan. Couple of facts about Milan. Has the tallest building in Italy here, standing at 231 meters high. It's the Union Credit Tower Bank headquarters. I can see it right here. Kind of looks like the Burj Khalifa in a way. I would say, having seen that, kind of looks like that. They've got great tram network here. Got like 17 different tram lines, which goes over about 181 kilometers, which is quite impressive. And also, if you're a football fan, or as I say, soccer to my American friends, it has the largest stadium in Italy, which is the San Siro, or locally known as the Stadio Giuseppe Meazza, with 80,018 individuals being able to spectate a stadium there, which houses the two local teams, which is interesting, isn't it? That AC Milan and Inter Milan, that is their home stadium. Which is interesting that two teams would share the same stadium, and it is pretty much the fashion capital, shall we say, of the world. I would say it's one of the big four, isn't it, when it comes to fashion. So it's one of them which just kind of goes back to that pretentiousness.
capitano sempre nel paese.
I'm in the Piazza Cavour, and there's a wonderful part here where you can hear the traffic. It's all really busy, tram lines and stuff, and then there's this ancient Roman gate just bridging the road. You get run over by a little kid on a scooter. At least it wasn't Fat Elvis in Vegas. A little bit different, isn't it? There's this amazing gate here in the middle of the street. It's got you can see the etchings on it date back a bloody long time. There's wonderful headstones in there. When I say that, I mean stones carved as heads, Roman heads. I'm not describing it very well, really, am I? But this is like a main road, and you've got all these wonderful little streets going off it, and all these little shops. And what I love about like places like, especially Italy and Spain, you have all these like little alleyways that go into these courtyards which are behind these streets. So you got all these houses which look like they're just like a wall, but behind them there are all these little courtyards, and there's all these. This is quite a fashion area. You know, there's Incanto, Illumiane. I put on this video, a sweet coffee bar, and that's another thing that I love. You see so many Italians just sat outside with a little espresso, and they sit there for hours, and they just talk. And like the cafe owners are like, it's fine, you know. Like you go to a Costa in England, and they're like, are you gonna have something to eat, or you can't sit there all that time. There's like a cinema here, and it looks like there's a premiere going on, something. And like here, they just sit there with their little espresso, and they like take a little sip maybe once every half an hour, and they just talk and smoke, and they put the world to rights. I love it. I think the Italians and the Spanish have to be the world leaders in how you live your life. You know, family, friends come at the top. Then pretty much very close behind that is food. Very close behind that is drink. And that includes all types of drink, from water to coffee to alcohol. And then way down at the bottom is work. They kind of, we'll do that. We'll get to that later, because you don't really need to worry about that. I love that about this country and that mentality. But you have look here, you have poltrona fuau, and then right next to it is this gorgeous church. It's all shut up, I'm afraid. I can't go in. A massive old church. Oh, there's a door open there. No, it's not. Can't go in. Oh well.
I love the feel of Milan and Italy in general. It just oozes leisure, a carefreeness to life and all it throws at you. It was a Friday and the crowds started to get more intense.
If you watch the recent movie Wonka, you will know that Wonka sets up shop in a mall, this mall, the Galleria de Vittorio Emanuele II. It's a beautiful, massive big mall, but I'm stood right next to a mosaic which is in the ground, and it is said that if you put your heel on the private parts of the ball and spin around 3 times, it is going to bring you luck. So there is a load of people around here spinning around. There's a little boy in there at the moment spinning around, doesn't quite know what he's doing really, but that's fine. It'll bring him luck. Who's to say it won't? But the actual place where you spin your heel around is actually a hole in the floor now. It's been done that much. I don't know if that has just ended up like that or if they've done that now. But yeah, basically where the bull's testicles are, that's where you stick your heel and you spin around 3 times. Very elaborate lady is going to do it now. Here she goes. 1, 2. She's she just did 2. She didn't do 3. You know, you've got the Fiat 500 cars, well, here there is a Fiat Topolino, and it's brilliant. It's just like a little box. I don't know if you'll be able to Google it, but have a look at the Fiat Topolino. It's delightful. It's just a little box of a car, and this one's like a creamy green. I'm going to take a picture. It's absolutely lovely. It's a Friday. It's very busy here in Milan, and as I'm wandering around, and you're seeing people from all over the world, really. There's Chinese, obviously a lot of Italians. I've heard English, American. Same as was wandering around Inverness, really, wasn't it? But I'm really intrigued about other people, you know. Like I tell you, the Story Pilgrim is all about me trying to figure out what this world, this thing, this life is all about. And I am fascinated by how other people are going through it and the experiences that they have and what you can learn from that. And I mean, I am stood here, I've just come out of the Galleria and I am now stood in front of the Duomo Cathedral. I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to go and find a better place to look at it. And yeah, this I could glean. The best education is surrounding me, and it's just walking past me, because I don't speak the language. You just don't walk up to people and go, "Tell me a story. Tell me what you're doing. You know, who are you?" There's just thousands. It would take several lifetimes to get all the knowledge that is in and surrounding me at this moment in time.
And the philosophizing has begun. More of that later. Now, time for some culture.
I am sat down now opposite the Teatro alla Scala, the most famous opera house in the world. 2,000 seats, has been the site of many an amazing performance. The name La Scala comes from the church Santa Maria. Start that again. The name La Scala comes from the church Santa Maria alla Scala, which used to stand on the same site as to where the theatre is now, the opera house. It was founded in 1300 by Regina della Scala of the noble Scala family of Verona. It's quite famous because it's quite a deep theatre. So what I mean, like it goes up quite high, and the seats right at the top are the cheapest seats because you're the furthest away and you don't get a great view. But legend has it that opera singers regard it as a baptism of fire, because if you didn't do a good performance, the people up at the top would absolutely let you know that you weren't giving a good performance, and they would boo you off the stage. Apparently even Pavarotti was booed off this stage. So a lot of opera singers are very, if you sing at La Scala, you better be on the top of your game, because the audience are going to tell you whether or not you are worthy of performing there. Apparently when Mary Shelley attended La Scala in 1840, she complained about the horse dealing to the stock jobbing that was carrying on in the pit. Down in the bottom, people were not paying attention of what was happening on the stage. They were doing all their business in the theatre, and Mary Shelley apparently got very upset by that. Was it Toulouse where I was walking along and a load of men were running past me, and then there was the old man smoking a cigarette? I think it was, wasn't it? That's just happened again. A load of young men running, not together, like it's like they're in a race. Look, there's another. Oh, there's that. Oh, he's not doing very well. He's running. He's running like he's just pooed his pants. I shouldn't laugh, should I? Because he's doing it. I'm not. Not pooing in his pants. Running. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. That just kind of happened again. Is that like a European thing? It must be some sort of like latest fashion in fitness. Go and just run very fast against each other in the streets. Here's another one. They're all going the same way. Oh, it's a bit weird.
Hyrox, the German fitness racing phenomenon. Maybe that's what it is. If you ever find yourself in Milan, there is one place that you absolutely have to visit. The Duomo de Milano.
It is just, what time is it now? It's 6:36 and the sun is just setting, and there is absolute beautiful light on the cathedral, and I'm stood next to about 50 pigeons eating bread, and there is probably about 30 people taking pictures of the pigeons eating the bread and not of the cathedral. The Duomo Cathedral at the moment is bathed in absolutely beautiful sun-setting light. Construction began on it in 1386, and the last details were completed in 1965. So quite a long time there. 579 years to finish the cathedral. It's quite a sight, and it's the world's 5th largest church. 3,400 statues are resting inside the cathedral. If you want to, you can adopt a gargoyle if you want on the cathedral. The initiative started basically just to raise some money for the renovation of it. There's 135 gargoyles have been successfly adopted, raising about 100,000 euros. And if you adopted a gargoyle, then your name was engraved on said gargoyle, which is pretty cool, isn't it? There's when you go in, there's some tiles there which give you the signs of the zodiac, and that was actually put in 1786 by the astronomer Biera, and that's located so that a ray of light can enter through a small hole in the ceiling and light up a tile according to the time of year. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And they did that in 1786. Do we do that now? I guess we kind of probably do, but we probably are more associated with AI and computers, aren't we, than the natural world. We kind of do that. You see sculptures like that incorporate the sea or incorporate the sky. Sun is just setting. The cathedral, it's marble. It's covered in marble. I don't think it originally was meant to be covered in marble, but they have covered it in marble. So it's extremely unique in that texture that it gives to it. It's kind of patchwork in a way. It's just a big chunk of a church. It's just big. It's not like exactly tall or anything. I mean, it is high, but it's just a big church. It's got a big footprint. Just carrying on the thought from before, the sense of disconnection, despite the fact that we all have this shared human experience. It just raises deeper questions more for me about the deeper nature of understanding and communication. And as I sort of I'm walking back through the Galleria now, which is the floors covered with mosaics and the walls and the sorts of stained glass. It's like a large mosaic. I kind of feel like each of us is contributing our own unique perspectives. But like that mosaic is limited by that each of those tires is limited by what it is, by how it's sat there where it's been placed. And then that kind of like puts me thinking about things that put me in places: language, my culture, circumstances, but they all define who I am, but they confine who I am. They define and they confine. Yeah, it just again, here we go. I'm overthinking again, aren't I? It's just trying to imagine, this vast collective wisdom that's walking the streets of Milan. I can't even speak properly. That's walking the streets of Milan. Every individual here, no matter what age or education, is a walking library of their personal history, insights, emotions. Can you imagine if we could just sort of like transcend all of those barriers? There'd be like such an immense potential of personal growth, both personally and socially. But instead, we still remain isolated within like our own narratives, and like now I'm just catching little tiny glimpses of others through these fleeting encounters that are just surface level. They're just little surface level encounters. And in a way that's pretty much what the story Pilgrim is. I'm just trying to unravel the idea that through storytelling and shared journeys that we can bridge some of these gaps, no matter how big or small they are. And as I'm sharing my stories, and as people share their stories, it sort of breaks down the walls of isolation and makes us kind of realise that we're all more alike than we are different. Just like pushing back against the boundaries of inaccessibility, and you foster a space where understanding and connection become just more possible, no matter how brief that is. But again, me overthinking things. I'm still wondering how much more could we learn from one another if we didn't have those constraints of time, place, familiarity. If they just didn't exist, how much richer would this life be if we could dip into a collective consciousness at will? Am I starting my own cult? I don't know what I'm doing. It just changed the way that we'd relate to each other. Maybe I should start my own cult. There's just these questions, these kind of questions just keep lingering, as I'm surrounded by these people, there's traffic. I just think it's amazing.
So, who's up for joining my cult? There is actually a WikiHow page on how to start a cult in 15 easy steps. Check it out.
One of the great things with doing this job that I have with regards to flying around the world, and when I particularly come to Italy, as I love to go to the local supermarket and just buy stuff. So I just buy like pasta and stuff that I just wouldn't get. So there's like massive big bits of pasta that tastes better, and I think it's psychologically because I think, I got this from Italy, it must taste better. It probably tastes the same, and you can probably get the same stuff if you look at home, but I just really enjoy doing this. So I'll get some pasta, and get a couple of bottles of wine, and happy me. I'm outside Milan Central train station, which is huge. I'm going to go in there in a second, but outside there's a big square. Might be able to hear the kids skateboarding, but there's a giant apple, big white apple in the middle of the square, and immediately you go, oh, that's cute. It's just apple, isn't it? It's just apple. And then you go, well, it's in this square, and you go, but so it's a very nice sculpture, and then you realise about 20 yards away there's the lift, the elevator taking you down to the Apple store. It is just an apple for the Apple store, but it's a really big apple. Not in America, a big apple, just it's an apple, all right? It's big. It's for the Apple store, it's underneath it. I'm outside the Armani Hotel Milano. It's a modern building. It must be an absolutely stunning hotel to stay in. The bottom floor is just Emporio Armani shop, but at one end of it, slapped on the side of the building, are these 3 giant Roman sculptures of people just slapped there. It's really cool. One thing that Milan is well known for is between 7 o'clock and 9 o'clock, pretty much every day, you go for aperitivo, which is you just have a relax, a drink after work, get ready for dinner, the evening, and Aperol Spritz is very popular. Got several beers. Campari is also a really cool little thing that people have. Alongside, as you look at the main entrance to the station, you go down the side of it, and there's the Mercado, and it's just it's like another food market. It's loads of different little eateries, everything. It goes all the way along. It's very relaxed. Sushi, arancini, pizza. There's little bars. Literally nearly every second person I walk past is drinking an Aperol Spritz. Those look really good. Oh, they got different types of arancinis in all different shapes. Well, that looks really good. He's like made them into cubes. Woo! Yeah, really nice. The Italians love their food. There's lots of prosciutto, another bar. Good stuff.
As I walked the streets of Milan, a city pulsing with life yet full of quiet corners, I was struck by the paradox of human connection in isolation. In a place so alive with people, art and history, I felt the beauty of those solitary moments where, despite being alone, you're never truly disconnected. Each glance shared with the stranger, each moment spent in reflection in front of the Duomo, reminded me that connection doesn't always require words or touch. It's sometimes found in the silent acknowledgement of each other's presence. Walking through Milan, I saw how this city holds space for both solitude and togetherness. It reminded me that even when we're physically alone, we're still part of something larger, tied to the rhythms of a place and to those who've walked these paths before us. This is the essence of human connection, finding threads that binds us, even in our solitary moments. It's a reminder that there's beauty in the space between us, where isolation and connection coexist in a delicate dance. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Milan. If you felt that spark of connection here, I hope you'll share this episode with someone who might need it too. The Story Pilgrim was walked, written, recorded, edited by me, Darren Hill. Anya Backer on Shaun the Harp provided the wonderful inspirational music. Again, until we meet again, keep listening, and buen camino.